Hello, hello. Steve, Canadian Sasquatch, coming at you with another Thirsty Thursday Mead review. Today we're doing something special. Not only are we in the garage, but we're going to have a special mead. So we're in the garage today, something a little different. The house is pretty dark. My beautiful bride has got what I had, so trying to be quiet in the house so she can rest. But today we have the Canadian Sasquatch Brewery batch number 001. That's right, this is the very first mead I ever made. Start date was 2012 November 2nd, and I bottled this 2014 January 21st. So yeah, it was 2 years in the fermenting and just aging and all that. The reason why it took that long was because it tasted really bad right off the bat. It was a kit that I got from the local homebrew store, and I started making it, and after a while I tasted it. It just didn't taste good at all. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just rack it over and let it sit, and rack it over and let it sit. And 2 years later, it was tasting really good. So here it is, September 4th or 5th or whatever it is, 6th? I don't know. So it is 6 years, almost 7 years after it was bottled. Seven years. So as I work this old school bottle opener, just a reminder, CSB store, links down below for that. Feel free to swing by there and do some purchasing for books or my book or whatever. I'm gonna pop that open. We'll give it a pour. I know the lighting in here is a little crap. Boom. So yeah, so it's foggy because we're outside, and it's cold because I just brought it out of the fridge, but it is a nice golden yellow color. Little bit of floaties in the bottle, but yeah, nice golden, very, very clear though. That was one of the things that happens when you let something age around for a couple of years. Everything will eventually settle out. So yeah, let's go ahead and get an aroma, because I'm already starting to smell some sniffs on this. So it does have that typical mead aroma. It does say honey wildflower, no flavorings, and the ABV was 11.4%. So even on my very first mead, I was labeling what was in my meads and how much ABV and all that. So it is just a traditional. Like I said, it was a kit, and if I remember correctly, it had like all the nutrients, and there was a pouch of tannins and acids and all that stuff that I think I only ever actually used for this one batch, because after that I was like, I don't need that nonsense. There's a bit of a cidery aroma, like apple cider, but it doesn't have that apple aroma, so it smells like a cider without the apple, if that makes sense. But let's go ahead and give this a taste. So cheers, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this Thirsty Thursday Mead review of my very own beverage, my very first beverage. Cheers. So right off the bat, honey, quite a bit of honey just right there. I don't remember if I back sweetened this or not. Based on the flavor, I think I did. And then that cider flavor again. But with the flavor, there is a bit of that apple cider flavor happening. So it does taste like a proper apple cider. And that's probably because of the acids that I added to it. I believe it was citric acid, and then there was also just generic wine tannins, which are usually made from the grape skins. So those were added. But yeah, it's just a nice, almost like a sizer, which mead with apple juice, cider, sizer. So that's pretty much what it tastes like, actually, just straight up sizer. Sweet. It is on the semi-sweet to full sweet scale. It's probably about a lower side of a medium body feel, so it's quite pleasant. Really not bad for the first one that I ever did. Like I said, it took a couple years for it to actually taste good. So if you're just starting out and your meads are not tasting good, give them some age in the carboy. One of the rules with mead is if it doesn't taste good, wait a year, or 2 years in this case. If it still doesn't taste good after 1 or 2 years, then it may not improve at that point, and then do something else with it. But yeah, just don't dump it if it doesn't taste good right off the bat. Just wait a bit and see what happens. So I'm gonna warm this up as I do, and we'll be right back. And we're back, and I filled up my glass a little bit because I was running low. So again, the sweaty label of my first ever mead that we're doing right now. I've warmed it up as I do by just cupping it in my hands and swirling it around, and I'm outside, so it's actually a little bit warmer. It's probably in the mid 80s right now. So it didn't take long at all for this to warm up. So let's go ahead and get some more aroma. Definitely getting more of that cider aroma. Still working on getting over that cold stuff. So yeah, cider, some of that honey is coming through. Maybe a slight hint of fusel. Yeah, just a little bit of fusel's happening. So again, let's go in for some tastings on this. Once again, everybody, thank you for joining me on this Thirsty Thursday mead review of my very first mead ever. Cheers, everybody. So yeah, I'm getting more of that fusel flavor now as well. Being my very first mead, I didn't do any kind of temperature control. It sat on our counter in the kitchen for, I don't know how long it sat there. and the kitchen is not very temperature controlled because of all the heat, and doesn't have very good airflow in general. So yeah, so fusels from fermenting a little warm. Does seem to feel a little bit thinner as well at this point. More of that sizer flavor is coming through. Some of that honey flavor, I'm pretty sure I back sweetened it based on how much of the actual honey flavor I am getting. So like a raw honey is coming through on that. And when you back sweeten, you can sometimes cover up some of those fusels as well. So that's probably why it's very faint. Fusels, it probably was a lot more before I back sweetened. But again, fusels can sometimes add to something, so because they have that spiciness to it. So with something that tastes like a cider, it adds just a little bit, so it's more like a spiced cider. So it's not horrible. So as it's a semi-sweet to sweet feeling, it's also drying, so it dries out the mouth. It's got that drink me more astringency. Astringency kind of dries out your mouth, usually from tannins, and I added tannins to this because that was all part of the kit, and I didn't know what I was doing, so it all went in. So the astringency of it gives it that drink me more because it dries your mouth out, so you want to drink some more to rehydrate your mouth, which it does, but then it dries it out again, so you want to drink more, so it just keeps cycling through that. So yeah, so that's the very first mead I ever made, a traditional with a bunch of random powders that I didn't know what they were at the time because it was just a kit that I got from the local homebrew store. If I was to do this again, I would probably toss away half the stuff that was in the kit because it's not really needed for something like this. Specifically, that there's the tannins and the acids, not needed. It would have been perfectly fine without it, but that's how we learn. Got to play around, got to try those various things and realize, yeah, that's not for me. This tastes good, but it could be better if I didn't add some of that other stuff at this point. So yeah, I'd give myself a thumbs up. It's not bad. I'm hoping to find a bottle of the second mead that I ever did, which happened to be the first mead I ever bottled, so it will be even longer in the bottles. I don't know if I have any of that one left, but if I find some of that, I'll be bringing you guys along for that too. So, because it's interesting going back and many years later trying the stuff that you first made and seeing how they've aged. That's one of the fun parts of doing this, is just seeing how things age, because meads age well, braggots age well, so as long as you got something that ages well, you just stash a couple away and see what happens. That's how we learn about how aging affects stuff as well, just by tasting it as long as it goes. So I'm going to stop rambling about all this nonsense. If you guys enjoyed the video, learned something or anything, give me a thumbs up. If you did not enjoy the video, feel free to give me a thumbs down, but let me know why you're giving me a thumbs down, so I can try and fix that in the next video for you and turn that thumbs down into a thumbs up. Also, I invite you guys to hit that subscribe button, and while you're down there, hit that notification bell, just ring it, and you'll be notified when I put out a new video, which right now is every Thursday at 8 a.m. CDT, 8 a.m. Texas time. There you go. Or Chicago time. It's all the same line. Anywhere between there in the central. And with that, my friends, should have a pint of awesome. I know I will. Cheers, everybody.